Welcome back, history buffs, to the final part of our explainer on the Mycenaean civilization. We've tracked their remarkable rise, we've seen them at the absolute peak of their power, and now it's time to look at their lasting legacy and ultimate conclusion. Okay, let's dive into this. It's a pretty mind-bending thing to ponder, right? What actually remains when a massive palace kingdom just disappears? I mean, the Mycenaeans vanished more than 3,000 years ago. But amazingly, their influence didn't just evaporate into the Aegean breeze. No, their ideas and achievements continued to subtly and profoundly shape the course of history long after their citadels fell quiet. As you can see here, they were the earliest known Greek-speaking civilization. And look, this wasn't just some isolated blip on the historical timeline. They laid the essential foundational culture for the highly influential city-states that would eventually emerge and completely dominate the world stage. We're talking about legendary places like Athens and Sparta. The very DNA of classical Greece, it starts right here with them. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that you probably already know a lot of their legacy without even realizing it. Many of the gods worshipped during the Mycenaean age didn't just disappear when the palaces fell, they evolved. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Athena, these iconic figures actually survived the Bronze Age collapse. They became the familiar, central deities of classical Greek mythology for centuries to come. But their legacy isn't just found in myths and language, it's heavily grounded in the physical world too. What they left behind really falls into two distinct categories. On one hand, you have the immense physical weight of their engineering, and on the other, the incredibly detailed administrative weight of their written records. Together, these surviving artifacts tell a unified story of a highly organized, super capable society that fully intended to leave a permanent mark. Just take their architecture, for example. The enormous cyclopean walls of Mycenae and Tyrians are literally still standing today. Think about that for a second. Over 3 millennia later, you can walk right up and touch these massive, imposing stones. It's a permanent physical testament to the almost unbelievable engineering skills of these Bronze Age builders. Then, on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, we have their administrative genius. The practices meticulously recorded on their linear B tablets reveal one of Europe's earliest organized bureaucracies. And we aren't just talking about, counting sheep here. They managed complex taxation, far-reaching trade, detailed agriculture, and massive military resources. Turns out, even legendary ancient kingdoms couldn't escape taxes and paperwork. But perhaps their absolute greatest legacy is found neither in stone nor clay, but in literature. The heroic traditions of the Mycenaean age directly inspired Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Born from the fading cultural memories of Mycenaean greatness, these epic poems went on to shape Western literature, education, and storytelling for more than 2 millennia. I mean, they are quite literally 2 of the most influential works ever written. So the crucial point is, when we step back and look at the full trajectory, it's an absolute masterclass in ambition. First, they successfully transformed themselves from small, scattered farming communities into powerful kingdoms protected by massive fortresses. And then, from there, they just kept looking outward, eventually building these thriving trade networks that stretched all across the Mediterranean. At their peak, they had achieved this incredible triad of success: advanced administration, remarkable engineering, and a rich cultural tradition that would echo through time. They were, without a doubt, true titans of the Bronze Age. But, as history so often reminds us, even titans fall. Like so many great civilizations before and after them, the Mycenaeans were simply not immune to change. Even today, historians still debate what exactly delivered the final blow. Was it the devastation of continuous war? A sudden environmental disaster, like a prolonged crushing drought? Or was it internal political instability fracturing their kingdoms from within? Honestly, it was highly likely a complex combination of all three. But whatever the exact cause, their sudden disappearance marked the definitive end of an era and forced a completely new chapter in Greek history. Today, their magnificent ruins still overlook the hills of southern Greece. They stand as silent sentinels, reminding us that even the greatest, most deeply entrenched powers can fade into memory. Yet, while the palaces crumbled and the kings were forgotten, their ideas, their remarkable achievements, and their legendary stories, they absolutely refused to die. From archaeology to mythology, the Mycenaeans continue to inspire historians, researchers, and visitors from around the entire world. So, the Mycenaeans may have physically vanished from the world stage, but their legacy is permanently etched into our modern lives. They truly remain one of the vital cornerstones of European civilization. Because without the foundations they built back in the Bronze Age, the world as we know it today will look entirely different. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating source material. If you enjoyed this explainer and want to support the work we do here, please engage with the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives, and share this with anyone you know who is absolutely fascinated by ancient history. Your support lets us keep uncovering these amazing stories together. Before we sign off, I really want to hear directly from you. We've just seen how even the most untouchable, deeply rooted empires can completely vanish, leaving only echoes behind. It really makes you wonder what future generations will uncover about our own time, doesn't it? So which ancient civilization, with all its triumphs and mysterious failures, would you like us to explore next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.